Ilya Topuria says we've seen his last featherweight fight. He's moving up to lightweight. Topuria wants to return in May or April, and Charles Oliveira in the lightweight division is the fight he wants. Oliveira's coming off a loss to Michael Chandler and is ranked number 2 in the division. A win over him would set him up for a title shot. Topuria says since Islam is going to be fighting in January, he's not going to be ready for April or May. I'd like to fight the number 1 contender, which is Charles Oliveira. Topuria has had only 1 title defense at featherweight, so it would be a bit of a surprising move to jump up after just 1 title defense and vacate the belt, but again, Topuria is following the footsteps of Conor McGregor, a guy he modeled his career after, and in many ways, except McGregor had 0 title defenses before abandoning featherweight. Topuria has had 1. Topuria was expected to take on Volkanovski at featherweight sometime next year in Spain, but if he's serious about leaving the division, a fight with Volkanovski and the winner of Diego Lopez and Josh Emmett could occur. Lopez and Emmett are expected to fight March 29th in Mexico City. Topuria also says that he wants to be out of the MMA game by the age of 30. Right now he's 27, so in less than 3 years, he wants to be out of the game of MMA, at least fighting-wise. Conor McGregor says, here's the truth that will hurt all the little wannabe nobodies. Guess he's referring to Topuria. Fighting was too easy for me. I'd done it all by 27 years old. Earlier this year, when Topuria beat Volkanovski, McGregor and Topuria had exact same statistics. At age 27, 15 wins in a row, and 7-0 in the UFC, and just becoming featherweight champions. Conor McGregor went at Demetrius Johnson a little bit because Demetrius mentioned him, talking about why Conor would ever want to fight again in the first place. Conor McGregor, if I was to ask him, why are you still fighting? You have all the money in the world that you can ever want. An extra 10 or 20 million should not affect the 500 million he's made. I don't know how much cocaine is. I don't know, but it can't be that expensive. So Conor called him the lowest earner of all time, I guess in terms of pay-per-view buys, headlining pay-per-views, and the lowest earning champion, I guess he's calling him. And he also laughs that he was traded for Askren. Bye, Felicia. Chandler's still pushing for the Conor fight, and Conor still continuing the honey dicking. It's you, rest up, and I'll see you at the top, Michael Chandler. I'm a man of my word. Justin Tafa's taking on Talishan Teixeira, UFC 312 in Sydney on February 9th. It's going to be an interesting striking matchup. Tafa has 7 wins, all 7 are knockouts. Talishan Teixeira is 7-0, and most of those are knockouts, and he's 6'7" with an 83-inch reach. So it will be a unique striking matchup with a high probability of a KO. Manon Fiorot says to Valentina Shevchenko, you can't hide anymore, so sign the contract or retire. Manon will be next in line for a title shot for the flyweight belt against Valentina. There was some talk of Valentina taking on Weili Zhang, but Weili is going to be taking on Tatiana Suarez, so now there's nobody left except Manon Fiorot. Chris Cyborg said that Clarissa Shields looked pregnant, so Clarissa came back at her and said, hey Cyborg, I can have babies unlike you. I'm not pregnant. You're built like a full man and can't imagine a woman who boxes so flawless like I do and have curves. You put on a dress and then get uncomfortable. It's not nice. Fight announcement coming soon, ho. Brian Battle wants to take on Carlos Prates in Brazil. Prates won't take the fight though. He's interested in fighting Jack Della Maddalena in Australia. He was apparently also in the conversation to take on Shavkat over the weekend. Mayra Bueno Silva training for a fight February 1st in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia against Jasmine Jasdavicius. She's moving down a weight class for this fight. If she wins, she'll break into the flyweight rankings. Jasdavicius is number 13. Max Griffin, congrats Chiesa for beating him on the weekend. You got me to play into your game. You move like a jackrabbit and always seemed out of reach. You were the better man that night. Bogdan Grad is fighting on that card against Lucas Alexander. Grad was born in Romania and fighting out of Austria, and he has won 3 in a row.
Hell, don't do it.
And on the ticket sales front, the Sphere was the highest grossing UFC event ever. And by the way, the highest grossing event ever at the Sphere. Our Madison Square Garden bout this year, our card there, was the second highest grossing event in Madison Square Garden history. And now you move to the site fees part of it. And this is the way you need to think of it. And this is a real growth opportunity for us. So we have 24 marquee or premium events a year, 12 UFC, 12 WWE with the PLEs, one per month. And 4 of those are in the Middle East. And 4, just for UFC, are in Vegas. That's really our home. Our anchor hub is the T-Mobile Arena there. A third of those 24 events we're getting site fees on, roughly a third. So that leaves another 2/3 to sell. In fact, we've got a MetLife event we just sold next summer in Jersey, where we're getting a pretty strong site fee that we didn't expect. So all kinds of opportunity to get this high margin revenue. And once you finish those 24, when we actually sell out of those, by the way, and then you're selling title sponsors in terms of advertising, like we did with Riyadh Season and the Saudis for the Sphere event, then you get to SmackDown, Raw, and our Saturday night fight nights for UFC. And then we can start selling those. Now, those are not going to sell for multi-million the way the premier events do. But whether it's cash or non-cash incentives, those will sell. And it might be a St. Louis here for $1 million. You know, it might be a Des Moines, Iowa here for $500,000. But we will go wherever is best to, again, grow the brand, grow the audience, and cash in on the site fees.
You're doing around 42, 43 events per year right now. How are you thinking about the right balance going forward? And I guess within that, you know, does that give you opportunities to perhaps split up the rights, you know, across multiple buyers this time around?
Yeah, Ryan, I would tell you it's all the above. And so we'll be looking to maximize price, and we'll be looking to also do what's right for the health of our brand. And if that means, to your point, splitting up the packages or creating new packages or potentially adding fights and dates, we're willing to do all the above. Yeah, look, I think boxing could, especially with Fight Pass, right? We own our own direct-to-consumer platform with the UFC, where we put a lot of preliminary bouts from our fight cards. We put karate, jiu-jitsu. We're doing more in wrestling. I mean, Fight Pass is our owned and operated, if you will. And we think we can put some boxing there and really drive subscription growth for Fight Pass. Look, boxing is something we would do organically. So nothing to buy, just something we'd start up and likely take a partner from the Middle East that would serve as an investment partner for us. So that's something we're exploring right now.